Okay, let's not talk about MCNs or multi-channel networks or however you want to call them. They were very, very, very big thing in the beginning of 2010s, in the early days of the YouTube. And if you don't know what multi-channel networks is, it is an organization or company or the individual or whomever, it doesn't matter, it's just an entity who is uniting several creators under one banner and binding them with a contract. So you're basically giving the power over your channel to this multi-channel network in exchange for some benefits and some additional stuff. They were very, very big in the past, and many instructors and YouTubers and many people are still talking about them, and many of them are just telling that multi-channel network is still good, still worth it, etc., etc. And right away, I'm gonna give you the answer about whether you need to join MCNs or not, and no. Ignore them right away. Doesn't matter what size you are, doesn't matter what you want from them, just ignore them right away. You may have needed them in the past because it was a bit different back then. It was different with the sponsorships. It was different with an exposure. The situation were different. People were making far less money, and people wanted to use MCNs for money purposes because they thought that they would make them more money. For some, it was. For some, they were making some more money, but now they're practically useless. Like majority of them are just either non-existent or not doing practically anything for the viewers. Plus, they're not free to use, meaning that you are giving the portion of your revenues from the monetization to them, so they are just not worth to use it. And if you're saying that, okay, I'm small channel, I want an exposure, I assume that you already have a channel with some following, you have a small channel, you need some exposure, you need some sponsorships, etc., etc. But you see what's the problem? If you're a small channel, they are useless because you don't make them enough money, meaning that they don't help you because you are not making them enough money, you are just monetized, you're very, very small, and they don't bother with you, and plus they just can't do a lot to you as well. But if you're a big channel, they are useless to you because you make more than enough money and you don't need them because they cannot do anything to you or with you. They cannot help you. Many people were joining MCNs because of the YouTube problems, when they had some copyright problems, etc., etc. They wanted to use MCNs as their intermediary with the YouTube. But you see, you yourself as a creator have practically the same connection with the YouTube as a small channel as any other MCN has. So you're practically there. They have no use there. But you know what? Let's talk about actual MCNs and why. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you just want to join any MCN and you are just stubborn and want to do this right away. Okay, let's just talk about the stuff what MCN is providing you. Maybe somebody actually told you that all MCNs are good. Let's just talk what the MCN can give you and decide together whether they are worth or not. Okay, why you should want to join MCN. So there are actually 4 things that they can provide to you. First is support team. They have their own support team, and all the parts of the MCN, all the people in the MCN can communicate with the support team, and if you need something, they can help you to sort it out. Well, what does this support team do? Well, if you have a problem with your YouTube channel, let's say some things that's solvable, you don't know how to use analytics, you don't know how to access certain features, etc., etc., if you contact them, all they will do is tell you, okay, there is an article, read it. That's it. If you have a problem with the copyright, oh, they're going to send you an article with the copyright. Read it. If you will insist on the communication and you want to contact YouTube, etc., etc., oh, they will tell you that there is nothing you can do because you violated the rules, etc., etc. If you didn't violate the rules, they simply cannot do anything because they don't have any connections with the YouTube. Well, at least not anymore. In the past, the bigger MCNs had, but there are no more bigger MCNs left. They are either dissolved or they just bankrupted or just went away. Okay, they are not existent. So their support team is practically useless. When you have a problem with a YouTube, you are left with a bunch of articles and with the YouTube itself. So you have nothing to do and nowhere to go. So yeah, support team is big minus. Then additional perks. Okay, they have actually some additional perks that can be, how can I say, useful. Like let's say some MCNs have the access to the music libraries. Let's say at Epidemic Sound, which is amazing music library. Some of them will provide you with the free access to TubeBuddy Pro features. Some of them will provide you with some assets, etc., etc. They can provide you with quite a lot of different things, depending on MCN, of course. But no matter what they do provide you with, if you would pay them these services yourself, that would probably cost you less than $20, $30, maybe $50 a month for you. In worst case scenario, I mean in the most expensive scenario, in the most generous MCN, it would cost you $50 to do whatever the additional perks they provide. So most likely, they take more money from you than they are spending on the perks. Meaning that why would they want to spend $50? Maybe they're buying everything in bunch and just making more money from it. But why would they want to pay for you if they make less money from you? Well, right? Because they don't. They are taking more money from you. So when they're providing you the perks, they're still making more money from you as a monetized channel because they're taking the percentages of their channel. So you're practically left with, well, useless perks that you could buy yourself anyways. So yeah, additional perks are just, practically useless. Then the most important thing that people are going for the MCNs, sponsorships and contracts. So what happened in the past, what was happening was that when someone wanted a sponsorship or for example, when company wanted to hire a YouTuber or just make different promotion campaigns, they would usually go to MCNs instead of YouTubers because MCNs had connections to the bunch of different YouTubers, and MCNs and people at these companies would pay MCNs a certain amount of money for the certain amount of exposure. So this money, a big part of this money would go to probably around 20 to 30% maybe would go to the MCN, and the rest would be divided between the MCN. So maybe someone would gain $100 per sponsorship or maybe $500 per sponsorship, while the real cost, the real price would have been maybe $700 or $1,000. That's just because you are the part of MCN and just company contacted MCN instead of you. This was happening in the past. So we're still losing quite a lot of money because you were just not searching for the sponsorships yourself. And was it worth it? Well, absolutely not. Every single one of the individuals who were there, they felt like they're being ripped off because they had to do this, they had to do sponsorships, and they could not bail out of it because they were obliged to do with the contract. And the contract is the most atrocious things with an MCN because in the 90% of the MCNs, when you would sign up, you had a timed contract and you could not bail out until this time would pass or until the certain conditions would occur. And this was awful because people would not just read contracts because they were YouTubers. YouTubers just want to have some perks, have some stuff. They would not read the contracts, and the MCNs were using it. And for that reason, many people are still stuck with their MCNs. Thankfully, there were and there are some MCNs right now still that do not bind you with a contract, and you can just bail out anytime you want. But it's a very, very difficult thing to do. Not bailing out, meaning that defining the good MCN. So yeah, still not worth it. The last perk that you could get, and this is probably the only thing that's good with an MCN. I don't know how good it is, but depending on the money that you lost. But you get a different payment methods, meaning that you are not obliged with an AdSense as only, and if you want to get it with a PayPal, you can get it with a PayPal. You get paid with a PayPal. For example, one of my bigger channels is part of the MCN, which I am the part of MCN just because AdSense alone is not generating me income, and with the perks, I'm actually getting more money than the channel itself because the channel is not non-English language. The many non-English smaller language channels are actually generating very little income For that reason, I'm part of the MCN. I'm actually earning more from the MCN. The MCN is earning for me, but thankfully the MCN is pretty good enough. They're pretty cool with that. And I'm getting paid with PayPal. That's the biggest benefit, probably. Would you want to be the part of MCN because of the PayPal? I don't know. I still would not suggest you to go for it. And overall, no. MCNs are not worth it, especially because majority of them have timed and binding contracts. That's the biggest problem. You will never know until you read the contracts. And you usually don't read the contracts because someone would join you MCN, would invite you MCN. You are excited. Oh, I will be the part of the team. Oh, I'm a YouTuber now. I'm the big deal now because someone is inviting me. Well, they're actually using you because they're not doing anything and they're gonna earn part of your income basically, and which is awful. And I would not suggest you to do that. Overall, avoid MCNs. They're just not useful for you. You could find some use, like for one of my channels, I did find some use there. But it's nothing that I could not do it by myself. I just did it in the past and I didn't bail out of it. That's it. If I would do it again, maybe I would not do it again because it didn't change me in nothing because MCN is not doing a lot of things for me except for paying me with a PayPal, which for non-English channel, despite no matter what the size it is, AdSense is atrocious. It's awfully funny how much money you can make with a non-English channel. So, not worth it. Avoid MCN as a wildfire. Do not get into MCN. Well, this will be it for this one. Let's go to the next one.